Good evening. Today we will be talking about cloning and what cloning is, the current knowledge about cloning, why people are interested in cloning, and what are the controversies about cloning.
What is cloning? The term cloning describes a number of different processes that can be used to produce genetically identical copies of a biological entity. The copied material, which has the same genetic makeup as the original, is referred to as a clone. Researchers have cloned a wide range of biological materials, including genes, cells, tissues, and even entire organisms, such as sheep. It is possible for clones to occur naturally. In nature, some plants and single-celled organisms, such as bacteria, produce genetically identical offspring through a process called asexual reproduction. Natural clones, also known as identical twins, occur in humans and other mammals. Identical twins have nearly the same genetic makeup as each other, but they are genetically different from each parent. There are a total of 3 different types of artificial cloning: gene cloning, reproductive cloning, and therapeutic cloning. Gene cloning produces copies of genes or segments of DNA. Reproductive cloning produces copies of whole animals, and therapeutic cloning produces embryonic stem cells for experiments aimed at creating tissue to replace injured or diseased tissue.
Current state of knowledge about cloning. We have gained a lot of information about cloning through experiments over the years. It all started out with Dolly the sheep. Her clone was done through SCNT, and this is removing the nucleus from a skin or other cell. With Dolly, it was her mammary gland cell. They then inserted it into an egg whose nucleus has been removed, and then we took that egg and did an asexual reproduction. We watched that egg go from an embryo stage to a fetal stage, then to birth, and then we grew the clone. And you can see her clone in the bottom left picture of this slide. Some routinely cloned animals are mice, pigs, cattle, cats, deer, dogs, sheep, mules, ox, rabbits, and the list just goes on. But we have not included humans yet because it's currently against the law. There are problems with cloning because the clone does not live as long as its original organism, and the clone will have many health problems as they live. There are also ethical issues when doing cloning and many drawbacks. The picture at the bottom right of the screen shows the stage on how they do cloning, as I explained earlier.
Why are people interested in cloning? Our experiences have told us that with a little work, we humans can clone just about anything we want, from frogs to sheep, and probably even ourselves. Cloning for medical purposes has the potential to benefit large numbers of people. How might cloning be used in medicine? Much of what researchers learn about human disease comes from studying animal models such as mice. Often, animal models are genetically engineered to carry disease-causing mutations in their genes. Creating these transgenic animals is a time-intensive process that requires trial and error and several generations of breeding. Cloning could help reduce the time needed to make a transgenic animal model, and the result would be a population of genetically identical animals for study. It can also be used in stem cell research. Stem cells build, maintain, and repair the body throughout our lives. Because these are processes that stem cells do naturally, they can be manipulated to repair damaged or diseased organs and tissues. But stem cells transferred from one person to another, such as in bone marrow transplant, are seen as foreign, and they usually trigger an immune response. Some researchers are looking at cloning as a way to create stem cells that are genetically identical to an individual, and stem cells cloned from someone with a disease could be grown in culture and studied to help researchers understand the disease and develop treatments. In reviving endangered species, scientists have been working to clone species that became extinct more recently using DNA from well-preserved tissue samples. A number of projects are underway to clone extinct species, including the woolly mammoth. Cloning in livestock. Programs are underway to clone agricultural animals such as cattle and pigs that are efficient producers of high-quality milk or meat. Cloning in drug production. Farm animals such as cows, sheep, and goats are being genetically engineered to produce drugs or proteins that are useful in medicine. In cloning in humans, the prospect of cloning humans is highly controversial, and it raises a number of ethical, legal, and social challenges that need to be considered. Current efforts at human cloning are focused on creating embryonic stem cells for research in medicine, as previously mentioned.
Current controversies. Current controversies in cloning can broadly be divided into two categories: controversies concerned with the effects of cloning on animal and human welfare, and those concerned with the objection to the principle of cloning to producing an animal by means other than fertilization. Controversies concerning human health have a main focus on the consumption of food produced from cloned animals. However, years of study have proven consumption of meat, milk, or any other food from a cloned animal possesses no potential health risk. Therefore, it is believed controversies are simply concerned on the principle than on actual potential for harm, in part because cloning produces transgenic animals, which is perceived to present a potential different set of hazards to animal and human health as well as the environment. On the other hand, controversies dealing with the objection of the cloning principle to producing an animal by a means other than fertilization are a bit more complex. The main issue is whether the principle of producing an animal by cloning is violating some moral prohibition. Why are people playing the role of God? That is the issue. As far as where are things going in cloning, well, the success ranges from 0.1% to 3%, which technically means that for every 1,000 tries, only 1 to 30 clones are made. However, problems during later development and those few is very high, so don't expect to be cloned any day soon. Thanks for listening to our slideshow. Goodbye.